Olivia, and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for the love and support I received on my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out.
I'll totally do that.
Okay guys, well let's just get right into it today because I have a super fun video for you, and one that some people have been requesting for a little while now.
Now, as much as I love to talk and gab and joke and adore and smother my absolute most favorite books and just go on and on and on and on about how much I love them and how much I love books in general.
Isn't this amazing? It's my favorite part.
There are some books that I just don't love. Like, at all.
But that's impossible, isn't it?
It's entirely impossible.
Like, I think that anyone who is an author is super talented. Like, anyone who's an author who has the guts to write a book, go you. You're amazing. Like, way to go.
Oh, baby, you are so talented.
But I also believe that not all books are created equal, and some are better or worse than others when it comes to writing and or concept. And there are just some that I personally, with my personal book preferences, have never been able to get into.
I cannot believe what I am hearing!
So today we are going over books that I have DNF'd, which means did not finish. And these are going to be obviously like my own opinions. These are just books that I did not finish for these reasons, and like I will give those to you if you have read them and you really enjoy them. Who knows, maybe you can give me a reason to like keep on going and like give it another try, pick it back up, and I can do a video being like, I was wrong because this is why.
I'm right, you're wrong, shut up.
And I'm willing to hear those arguments. Like, please leave them down below in the comments. Tell me why I should read these books I'm about to talk about today. But for right now, I'm coming on here to complain about some of literature's most popular books that I have DNF'd.
Boom. Roasted.
So let's get started. The first one on the chopping block, and one that is going to cause much controversy right now on this channel, is...
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Jennifer R. Elman-Trout's From Blood and Ash.
You know what? This is an outrage.
Now, I know what you're all thinking. You're like,
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
Are you serious? Number one, let's be real. From Blood and Ash is probably second to Sarah J. Maas as one of the fastest grossing new adult like fantasy book series like of all time. Like, people are eating this stuff up.
And I just can't get enough. And I just can't get enough.
No one can get enough of her. Everyone's like eating it up. Like, every book that she drops, it's like the biggest drop ever. Like, everyone is freaking the frick out about Poppy and Castile. And if I'm being honest, I couldn't care less.
I could not care less about them.
What? Are you serious, man?
And here is why. Okay, so I started From Blood and Ash a while back. I like decided to like do, because I was like, everyone is gonna get on this book. I honestly started it probably before it even had like blown up in the book world. And I was reading, I started the first chapter.
And I'm sorry guys, but it was excruciating to get through.
So much pain!
First of all, I found Poppy's character slightly unappealing because I found her just like very like, she seemed really naive and like she was trying to like be like, she's like, I'm something I'm not. And I found her just like very uninteresting to read about. I don't know what it was.
Weird. I love my tits being out. It's like one of my things. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm not like cool like that. I barely know half the celebrities' name.
Like, then we have Castile, and Poppy's end up as at a brothel or whatever, and like she walks into a room and Castile's there just like lounging on the bed, like he's waiting for some lover, and he thinks Poppy's his lover. I don't know, like I just like got cringed out, and Castile just seemed a little bit too like...
Don't get me wrong, like I love a territorial like bat boy or like fae boy or like
my 500-year-old Rowan Whitethorn when he gets a little territorial. Like, I live for a little bit of territorial alpha hole nonsense. If you've read any of the Sarah J. Maas books, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Like, I live for some of that.
All the feminism in my body just left the chat. But I don't know. For me, Castile kind of just took it in a way that I didn't love. I think it was like slightly too territorial, especially with somebody he like didn't know. Felt a little possessive. It felt a little bit like wrong. I don't know. He just kind of turned me the wrong way.
Aren't we forgetting one teensy weensy but ever so crucial little tiny detail?
I own you!
No, don't get me wrong. I've heard wonderful things about this man. I've heard fabulous things about this man. And I've heard fabulous things about Poppy as well. For one thing, she's a plus size protagonist, which I absolutely adore, and I super, super support that. But I just can't get behind her and him and like the whole book itself. My friend has read the books before, so she read all of them. So she read them all. She's like, Olivia, you would hate these because number one, it's vampires and werewolves.
I know what you are. Vampire.
Vampires and werewolves are my absolute most least favorite mythological thing on planet Earth.
Die! Die! Die!
I cannot stand vampires or werewolves. I'm sorry. Werewolves I'm a little bit more lenient on because I feel like they can be taken into cooler context. Vampires, I'm sorry. I think the Twilight franchise just kind of ruined them for me and ruined the mythology for me of them in general.
Nessie? You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
I just can't not stand vampires and werewolves. I think it's such a cliche trope. I think they're way overused. And I just hate them. And so that's why I never finished From Blood and Ash.
And all of you out there, like, you're going to talk, Liv. You're reading SJM, like, from, like, Court of Silver Flames. And I'm like, okay, I know.
But I feel like Sarah brings something to the table that Jennifer just doesn't.
It's just a personal opinion. I did not finish From Blood and Ash, but if any of you out there in the comments or any of my subscribers have read From Blood and Ash and want to convince me otherwise, feel free to leave your arguments down below. I would love to hear them, but I did not finish it, and there's a reason. There's the reasons why. Next, this book is probably gonna break some hearts, and I really am sorry out there. This one is actually one that I'm like super willing to like give another chance. Like From Blood and Ash, I'm kind of like, I'm not into getting into the vampires, werewolves.
Oh, come on!
This one though, I actually like, I think I need to finish, but it just, some things happened. So continuing.
I didn't finish Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
No. Please. Please don't say that.
I know you're all yelling at me. I know everyone out there in the entire book world just like turned their heads all dramatically like this where they all went, and they're like, what? Like, how dare you disrespect our queen, Madeline Miller?
Here you are again being so disrespectful.
Yes, okay. Madeline Miller is known for writing some of the best Greek mythology known out into the public world. But if I'm being honest, I read Circe, which is another one by Madeline Miller, Circe, about the witch in the Greek gods and goddesses times, whatever. I liked Circe. I thought it was an interesting book. I thought it was an interesting concept. Not my favorite book I've ever read, though. And I think it's just because of the way Madeline Miller decides to write her books. That's just a personal preference. But Song of Achilles. So I actually got like halfway-ish through, and I just started to get bored. I was just kind of bored of seeing the same old...
I was bored, so I ruined lunch.
Same in, same out, like characters not really doing anything. And I feel like Madeline Miller's books have a tendency to kind of be like really slow and like not very like well paced. I wasn't seeing very much like progression between Achilles and Pericles. I wanted to see more of like progression, like
Move!
I am well aware that in the book community, this is one of like the book world's most like highest recommended books like of all time. I am aware. I think I will get to this one eventually, but like for me right now, like there are far more interesting things to read. Like far more interesting things on my bookshelf right now that I would rather read than that one.
Well, that hurts my feelings.
But if one of you guys out there has a great argument for why I should like just buckle down, finish the last half of this book, and cry my eyes out with the rest of the book community, please give it to me because I would love to know why. I think I do. Everyone just talks about how heartbreaking the ending is and how everyone just sobs and sobs and sobs. I'm willing to sob. I cry over books all the time, if not every day.
Tell all of your friends that I'm crazy and drive you mad.
So give me the reasons, people. Show me why Achilles and Pericles deserve a second chance. This next one, and once again, another one that is super popular amongst the book world and amongst the populars in the fantasy / fae kind of world building kind of aspects of the book world, and that is The Cruel Prince.
What? I wish I were dead.
I know, you're all out there shaking your heads, disappointed nods, like, I know, I'm getting it. I'm getting the reaction. I can feel the animosity in the room.
I'm very disappointed.
Okay, Holly Black's The Cruel Prince. I tried 3 times. I kid you not, 3 times to read this book because everyone talks so highly of it. And of course, it's everything I love.
It's fantasy. It's hot fae people. It's battles and wits and court intrigue. It's fae and fantasy and fairy creatures and all that cute little nonsense stuff. I live for that stuff. I love that stuff.
This one, for some reason, I just could not get into it. Now, people talk all the time about Jude and Carden and their relationship and how it's everything. Personally, for me, I think it's weak sauce compared to some of the other SJM and other fantasy and or book relationships that I've seen out there. I think there are far stronger couples than them.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
But I have seen the TikToks and the memes and the moments and everyone being like, oh, Carden and Jude.
Jude is this like spitfire, strong, independent woman. She's a woman that's like unlike other women.
I'm aware. I just didn't love her in the beginning. I know that she's somebody I could probably grow to love. Like,
Take a chance on me.
Sorry.
Like, especially in the second book. I've read the second book, like, changes everything. But that first book was such a pain to get through. And I didn't even get through it. I thought that the characters, like, had potential, but they weren't going anywhere. And every time, it just, like, it wasn't pulling me in. It just didn't, like, draw me in. And I was just really disappointed, if I'm being honest, because I wanted to like it so bad. So, for all of my Cruel Prince fans out there who are fainting and crying and about to start fighting and getting their pitchforks out to come get me to defend Jude and Carden, leave your messages down in the comments and tell me why it's the greatest book series ever. And this one, I might have to give another chance to.
I don't know. From Blood and Ash is like super kind of like off my radar. I'm super like not interested.
But that one I actually could be swayed to reconsider bringing back into my book stack. So give me a reason to fight for them. And last but not least, this one is a controversy because technically I finished the book, but I didn't finish the series. And this is one that like, I don't know if I'll ever finish the series. I might pick it up at some point, but it's been so long since I finished the first book that I don't know if I'm gonna read the second. This is in no way, shape, or form to say that it was like anyone's fault that I didn't like this book. It honestly might just be me. But I DNF'd We Hunt the Flame.
How dare you!
It's one of YA's most popular books right now because it has like a really interesting concept about like the magic system, and it's honestly some of like literature's favorite tropes. You got like group of misfits like works together. You have enemies to lovers. You have like really cool mythology that takes place within a different part of the world that you're not used to seeing. Like really, it's like it has all the things that literature and like book people love the most.
These are a few of my favorite things.
So I finished We Hunt the Flame. And then I started the second one. And I just, once again, I got bored.
So bored I could die.
And if I'm being honest, I thought that We Hunt the Flame was kind of weak in general. Like it had the potential to be so good. My issues is that like the found family was cute, but I thought that they didn't spend enough time like conjoining together to where like they felt like a family. And maybe that happens more in the second book, who knows? But I just wanted them to feel more connected. I wanted to care about all the members of the family. Then there was the romance. This is what really let me down.
When everyone was like, it's an enemies to lovers.
No, it's not. It's an insta-love.
Ooh, burn!
I'm sorry if I'm being too harsh, but like guys, like it was insta-love. Okay, that guy took one look at her and said,
I'm gonna fight for her. And he's like, and I can't explain why I really like her, but I do really like her. But I don't want to like her, so I'm gonna be mean to her.
I'm sorry, but to me, that doesn't scream enemies to lovers. That is like insta-love, okay? Their relationship was not love. Like, it was insta-love. And I mean, insta-love is fine, but for me, the book was marketed as enemies to lovers.
You lied to me!
And I just didn't get the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the betrayals and the love and the passion and the fighting and the bickering and the bantering.
How romantic.
I just didn't get that from these two. And I honestly was just disappointed because it felt really like weak to me. I will say, for the book's credit, it is like it has a lovely mythology background. I thought the mythology of it all was very interesting. And I think that like it's had something really going for it. Like, I will be honest, and the ending was also a really good cliffhanger. The ending had a great cliffhanger, but it just was not my cup of tea. Like, I just felt really disappointed. Like, I really wanted it to be something that I could just like hold on to and grab for the ride and be like, man, that was an awesome YA duology. It's just like Six of Crows or like freaking, I don't know, like the Caraval trilogy or even like anything by SJM, because let's be real, she's who I compare all my best books to.
I'm guilty. Guilty. Is that what you want to hear?
And it just wasn't that. It's its own unique thing. And so for We Hunt the Flame, for those of you who decide to read that one and finish the duology out, good on you. For me, I just lost interest and it just was not my cup of tea. But it is very popular for a reason. Personally though, for me, it just wasn't something that I felt like I wanted to finish because it just was not drawing me in. Sorry, not sorry, but like, it is what it is. So that is all the books that I DNF'd for you today. And so thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Live in Literature YouTube channel. We are doing so well these days, guys. We have like 315 subscribers last I checked, and we're still just trying to grow this channel, and I'm so proud of all of you, and thank you so much for all subscribing. I love you guys the most, and I hope you have the best day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!